Welcome to Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And today we will be talking about the surprisingly incredible game that was LSU Florida. We have notes, Florida Gators. We have notes. We will be talking about the rapid reactions headlined by a certain school to the north of Gainesville. We'll then go through our 5 wide. Spoiler alert, I picked up some ground. And then we'll go ahead and go into previewing the game against Will Muschamp and the South Carolina Gamecocks, along with our 5 wide and 2-point conversion for next week. But first, Tyler, we begin as always with our quick hits, and I just want to issue a formal apology on the pod for the delay of this podcast. I know there's not much time before the South Carolina game for this weekend of games. I was in Boston on vacation. I had fall break. I was off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. My flight came in later than expected on Tuesday night. We could not record. And we are now recording Thursday, October 17th, because we both have full-time jobs and schedules are schedules. So we apologize.
All I heard is that you aren't committed to this podcast.
All I heard was Sergio ain't played nobody.
Exactly.
That's all I heard.
Actually, you've been on the road more than I have.
I have. I've been traveling.
You're more road tested.
I'm a little seasoned. And
I've got a really good home field advantage, though.
And I'll talk about this next week, but next week I'll be heading to watch FAU play Old Dominion in Virginia. So I will be attending 2 college football games in a month, my friends. Very excited. I just want to say in quick hits, I want to shout out Banner Society, the just chef's kiss of a blog that is run by SB Nation. Just love it. I was in quite a bit of Ubers and Lyfts while I was in Boston over the weekend, and every time I was in one, I would kind of pop open my phone and check my email. And a couple times I got Banner Society emails, and I literally dropped what I was doing and started reading Banner Society. And I just want to say it is the funniest, most accurate blog on college football on the internet. And that's saying something. They do a really good job. They do a really good job. So thank you for making me laugh during these Uber rides. I appreciate it. Big things to talk about, Tyler, before we get into our personal things that we want to talk about. The AP poll has a lot of shakeups.
Big shakeup.
Starting with 2 SEC teams. You're right, I said it. 2 SEC teams at the top. Starting with Alabama at 1, LSU at 2, Clemson and Ohio State rounding out the current playoff spots. Your Florida Gators have dropped to number 9 from 7, which, shout out to the AP poll for showing us some respect.
I ain't complaining.
I'm not complaining at all. My only complaint is Penn State and Notre Dame above us, but you know.
I don't have a problem with that because one, Penn State is undefeated and just beat another ranked team on the road.
For now.
And Notre Dame, I think Florida's better than Notre Dame, but Florida did just lose.
Yeah, I get it.
So you did drop. And the difference between 8 to 9 isn't big to me.
No, it's not. And also, it's not that big to the AP voters, because if you look at the points, Notre Dame at 8 has 1,042 points. The Gators have 1,041.
Okay, so like one person thought that Notre Dame was better than us.
All I want to say is Georgia sitting at 10. You have 995 points, so talk to us when you get a comma.
Comma life.
We'll talk about Georgia a little bit later on, but we just want to say surprising that the Gators are up as high. Tyler, let's go ahead, since we got a lot to talk about today and not as much time. Let's talk about our fantasy football teams. How did you do this weekend in your NFL leagues?
Oh, in my NFL leagues, mostly positive. I believe I pulled out a win in our Dynasty league. I got to check because I am ridiculous. Let me see. I am currently 3-3.
Oh.
So the thing is, I'm in a division with friend of the pod, Tyler Renfro, and our friend from college, Austin Reynolds, and you. So in any other of the divisions in our league, 3-3 would put me at second place. But I'm in third because you and Renfro are like 4-1.
We're both 5-1. Thank you very much.
Jeez.
If the season,
it's a long season.
If the season ended today, I'm 5-1 in both my leagues. If the season ended today, I would be the number 1 seed in both of my leagues. But I'd like to remind you, Tyler, you would be the 6th seed. You would make the playoffs. You would be the last playoff team in.
Heck yeah.
If the season ended today.
It's a long season. Still got a lot of ways to go.
Still got a lot to go.
I'm not confident about it this week because some of my best players are on a bye, but I did win last week.
Nice.
I'm back to 500. In the college league, I won my second win of the season. I'm 2-5.
Slow clap for
I'm
you,
on my
Tyler.
way back, baby.
Coming back.
I'm playing my dad this week. It's a rivalry game. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Expect the trick plays to come out. Anything can happen. In college, I actually won last week to go above 500 for the first time this season. I'm 4-3. I'm in 4th place, which is the final playoff spot. So I'm looking to try to get some movement in there. Unfortunately, I have Notre Dame is off, so Ian Book is going to be sitting on the bench for me. But I have faith in the one, the only, Sam Howell, quarterback for University of North Carolina.
He's been playing well.
He has. He has been playing well.
I'm having to start, I think, Trevor Lawrence this week because
I never thought I'd hear the phrase "having to start Trevor Lawrence" in my life.
Hey, when he's on, when they let him throw and they need him to throw, he's a great fantasy quarterback. But it's Clemson; and they don't really need him to throw a lot.
No, because they have Travis Etienne Jr., who is my fantasy running back.
Yeah, but Jamie Newman is a little banged up for Wake Forest. I'm not sure if he's going to start because their backup Sam Hartman is also really good, so they don't need him to start if he's injured. And I'm not playing with the Wake Forest beat writers right now. I just don't even want to deal with that.
Nope, I'm not even putting my toe into that water right now.
Yeah, they're playing. Clemson's playing Louisville this week, so they actually might need to score points. Nice.
Good to know.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
I think my highest scoring player this week, hot take, my highest scoring player this week is going to be?
If you say, what's his name from Alabama, I'm going to throw some hands.
No, Devontae Smith is suspended for the first half of the game against Tennessee.
Oh,
because he threw a punch in the A&M game.
Can't do that.
Can't. Why do people throw punches at people with helmets on?
The world may never know.
Me, but
I don't know. Why do the NFL officials call illegal hands to the face twice and cost the Lions the game on Monday night?
Who knows? That Vegas Lions. Vegas knows, baby.
Vegas knows.
But Ohio State's defense against Northwestern, I think, is going to score me a boatload of points.
On the contrary, Northwestern won't be scoring any points.
Yes, that's going to help me a lot.
That's going to help you. All right, let's move forward from quick hits, my man. Let's dive right into it. Listen, we were not ducking the fade. We were not trying to avoid because we've lost to LSU. This happened last year on our first loss of the season. Some kind of scheduling thing happened and we couldn't record right away.
We just didn't even talk about it.
We didn't even talk about it. We just moved forward. It's not the case. We're here to talk about it. LSU beat Florida 42-28. It was a night game in Death Valley. Fowler and Herbie were on the call. It was incredible. I loved it. Loved seeing them. I think the big takeaway from the Gators' perspective is twofold. On the offensive side of the ball, Kyle Trask is for real.
He's getting better.
He's getting better with each week. Number one. Number two, Kyle Pitts is an animal. I know we've established that before, but he's a little.
But there's levels to being an animal. There's tiers of the animal kingdom.
Do explain, Tyler.
Well, previously we thought it was he's a big, let's see, an African painted dog, which is a predator in Africa and the savannah, but not it's not a lion, it's not a leopard. He's on track to become a saber-toothed tiger. So we'll see. He's still pretty young. He's still only a sophomore, but Kyle Pitts was just going up and grabbing everything, and just all of the receivers balled out. The entire offense, the offensive game plan from Dan Mullen was perfection.
Yeah, he called it to a
and it was executed. Except for one or two plays, it was executed pretty brilliantly.
Yeah, I wouldn't really run a read option on 4th and goal.
See, that one didn't bother me.
It's not that it bothered me, because in the moment I said, okay, I can see it. It wasn't until I got on Twitter after the game and people were killing the call. And also in our fantasy football group chat, people were killing that call as well. And I kind of was like, I don't see it, whatever. But now looking back and I watched some film and I was like, yeah, we could have called something different there.
Yeah, but that, I mean...
But hindsight's 2020.
I'm not going to sit here and act like
hindsight's 2020. Because if what they do is if they motion...
What if the LSU, what if they block correctly? And that's the thing with people, they're like, that's a terrible call. I'm like, it's not... You don't... I have a hard time criticizing play calling for most teams because I'm not there. I don't know what's supposed to happen on a play.
Right.
You can call the greatest play in the greatest situation ever, but if your left tackle doesn't block, what are you supposed to do?
That's true.
So, I mean, the guys weren't blocked. Maybe it was the wrong call, but I don't know.
I get you. But the point being that, the game plan, offensive game plan was executed to a T. Flip onto the defensive side of the ball. When you're down Jabari Zuniga, when you're down Jonathan Grenard, we lose the two anchors of our defense. And we have some phenomenal defensive back talent, but they are young. And like we said, CJ and Marco are playing together for like the fourth game they've played together in their entire career, and they're both juniors. So like they need to get some more work together. When you lose your cornerstones in Jonathan Grenard and Jabari Zuniga, yeah, it's going to be tough. When you don't get pressure on Joe Burrow is, I'm not saying Joe Burrow is an NFL quarterback, but Joe Burrow is a phenomenal college football quarterback. Joe Burrow's
playing better right now than any other quarterback in the country.
Agreed. I think Joe Burrow should win the Heisman if the season ended today.
If it ended today, I would say yes.
I would say
He's
Burrow
got better wins and better stats than anybody else.
Agreed. Now, is that the system? Yes, but you need a good player to execute that system, and Joe Burrow is doing that. But before we go on, I just want to say, tip my hat, a lot of respect to Joe Burrow. A lot of respect to Joe Burrow. Better than I expected. But I'm not going to put an asterisk. I'm just going to put a footnote and say, if Jabari Zuniga and Jonathan Grenard are healthy, they get to him, and we get to see how he responds under pressure. Who knows? Maybe he makes the same throws and has just as good of a game with Jabari Zuniga and Grenard pressuring him. But we don't know that yet. And I will take my top 5 defense in the country into battle every single time, especially when fully healthy.
I mean, look, this game could have been 35-35 in the fourth quarter easy.
Yeah.
It was that close. And yeah, Florida loses by 14 points. But if you watch the game, you know that is not a 14-point score.
No, it is not.
And pretty much it's odd because college football is weird this way. Florida has gotten more respect out of losing this game than they had, the way they lost this game, than any of the 6 wins they had previously.
Incredible.
But that is the way that college football works. I come out of this game having a higher opinion of both of the teams involved.
Me too.
And that atmosphere, this game, the possibility that there possibly could be a rematch, that is something that I love about college football. So
it's enticing.
Great game, but got to move on now.
Got to move forward. In the words of Bill Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati. But before we move on completely, I think I texted you this throughout the game, and I said to you, I feel like the team with the ball last is going to win this football game. The way it was going, the way that things were moving, the way that things were happening. The team that had the ball last, and like we said, we made 2 mistakes in this game. 2 mistakes. CJ was blew coverage at one play, which wasn't even CJ's fault because it was the way that the defense was designed. It's kind of a zone.
It was a rub route, and LSU just executed it perfectly.
They did it right. That, and then like we said, a couple of offensive plays there. But on the Gator side of the ball, the biggest positive takeaway is that offense moving and Mullen game planning and scheming properly. Like people forget, we got the opening, we got the kickoff. We drove down the field, had like a 2-minute drive at the end of the first half, scored a touchdown, came out at the beginning of the second half, and scored another touchdown. That's the thing.
They control the middle 8 of the game. So Florida, there was a period of time where Florida was really in control of the game.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to let out a little bit of frustration on that front. A great LSU team, like we said. Second in the AP poll, deservedly so. And I hope we see them in Atlanta, because if we get our defensive line completely healthy, we can get pressure on Burrow, and Mullen ain't losing to them twice. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that right now. Mullen ain't losing to them twice.
You heard it here first, kids.
Heard it here first. Anything else you want to talk about this game, or can we move forward with rapid
reaction? I think that we can safely move forward from this game. Great game. A lot of good stuff to take out of it. A couple worries, but it's less of Florida falling down as LSU just being taller.
When you go up against a better team, you got to be able to say that was a better football team. And this last week they were a better football team. Can we be the better football team in the long run? I think we can. We got some work to do. We got some players to get healthy. But I think we can. I think it's an honest possibility. Last thing.
Let's move on.
Good teams win. Great teams cover. Shout out to LSU. A game that should not have covered.
Officially a great team.
Officially. They should not have covered the 13.5-point spread, which I said multiple times on the podcast, texting you, in Twitter DMs, in every capacity I could have said. I said, take the spread, because I didn't think it would happen. What do? They cover the spread. Let's move on to something that makes us a little bit happy. Okay, we got rapid reactions, and you want to start the countdown because we're gonna get a little loud for this first one.
All right, so we're gonna start our rapid reactions for college football in 3, 2, 1.
Boy,
Georgia,
what is you doing
in the world, boy? You putting your hand between those hedges, letting Will Muschamp, Boom himself,
Bill
come into
Muschamp.
your stadium and you're a top-tier team in the country and beat you.
It was a noon kickoff.
Well.
It was a noon kickoff. There is no excuse to lose a noon kickoff.
South Carolina scored 10 points on offense in this game. Their other touchdown was a pick 6, and Georgia lost.
Jake Fromm threw 3 interceptions.
Also, don't you ever tell me that Rodrigo Blankenship is anywhere near Evan McPherson or Eddie Pinheiro.
Oof. Smoke. I see smoke coming from
y'all's All-American missing a game-winning kick. Or just not even game-winning, game-tying kick in overtime could never be my kicker. Georgia, get the heck out of here. You see that Georgia players were like upset
that they lost.
Times up. Well, they were upset. Georgia media is like upset that South Carolina players took like clippings of the hedges when they won, and they're like, "You'd think that Will Muschamp, former player, would have more respect." And I'm like, "Cry me a freaking river."
I just want to let y'all know, we literally had 90,000 people at Tiger Stadium gator chomping us. Get over it. It's what happened.
Yeah, this is college football. Get over it. All right,
Georgia, get over it. Texas, get over it. We're going to horns down. Like, it's college football. Did it anger me? Yes, a little bit. But you know what? I got over it because it's college football. Moving forward, Georgia, you sick losers. Moving forward, or actually moving backwards to a Friday night game, Miami wins a sloppy game against Virginia Friday night in the cleanest of all-white uniforms, my friend.
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of the numbers.
I liked the numbers.
I thought they were like
a deep
numbers.
They were like a deep olive.
But I think the all-white scheme for Miami is really nice.
It works. It works really well. Just want to say they took that from FAU, but it works really well.
Oh, yeah.
All-white looks good on everyone.
Pretty much. I haven't yet to see a team that doesn't look good in all-white.
Yeah, they're phenomenal uniforms. But it was a very sloppy game. I just want to point that out. Just ugly in every facet of the word.
I did not like rewatching this one for research purposes. I did not enjoy it. All right, next one.
All right, USC makes it a game against Notre Dame. This was on the side screen. I watched the Gator game at a bar, and it was on like the projector, so the big screen. And then on the TV to the right was that Notre Dame game. And my buddy Matt, we were sitting there watching the game, and every once in a while he'd like point out, he'd be like, "Oh, Notre Dame, USC scored again." And I was like, "Really? USC scored again?" And it was the thing where like every time I went up to use the restroom, above the urinal, it was the Notre Dame game. So I would like pee and watch a little bit of the game, and I was like, "Man, USC's like moving the ball." I had no idea that they would be able to do this. And that's the thing.
It's one of those things.
It's Clay Helton doing the bare minimum to keep his job.
Yeah, I mean, 3-point loss on the road to Notre Dame is nothing to really be ashamed of.
No, and that's
I think with Notre Dame, it's like, come on, Notre Dame, like throw the ball down the field. Jeez,
do something.
Do something. And by the way, that Notre Dame Georgia game is starting to look a little. We came out of that being like, oh, look at Notre Dame, like playing tight, and now we're kind of like, maybe Georgia's not that good.
Wait till the cocktail party. That's all I got to say, baby.
Yeah. Oh, moving on.
Moving on. Arizona State is for real.
For real.
They got some players. Herm Edwards is coaching them.
This game was wildly entertaining.
This week is the week or yesterday, I think, we got Arizona State on 247 HBO. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be able to get an inside look at the program. I'm excited.
I think that, we clowned Herm Edwards a lot when he got hired. We clowned the hiring.
We clowned the hire, yeah.
And it's working out. I have no clue what it's going to work out long term because apparently they're recruiting a little bit of an odd way, and I don't know how that's going to work. But Jake Daniels, the freshman quarterback for Arizona State,
a baller,
great, absolutely great. And Washington State, I know that I think they're like 3-3 or 4-3 right now.
Uh-huh.
They're still, I still think they're a very solid team, but good win for Arizona State. They're like 5-1.
They're 5-1. They're ranked. We're going to talk about them in 5 wide. Very good win for them. Quickly, they're recruiting in unorthodox ways. Is this a bag dropping situation?
Well,
do we need to get the sideline judgment investigative reporters on this?
Not yet, but it's like no, they're bringing like an NFL mold to recruiting where they're only looking for guys within this like certain athletic window, and they're just approaching it from more of an NFL perspective of finding talent, less from a standard college football, which does look at those profiles, but it's also kind of like where are the good players?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's go recruit those guys.
Oh, okay.
It's weird. I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it, but we're gonna see going forward.
We'll see how it goes going forward. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna let you take the reins on this one, Tyler, because this was an emotional game for you, my friend.
This game was bananas. This was on the screen at the same. Louisville Wake Forest was on the screen at the same time as LSU Florida, and I kept looking over, and there was not a lick of defense in this game. And Wake Forest goes back and forth between Jamie Newman and Sam Hartman because Jamie Newman kind of comes out with an injury. A slight injury that needs to get looked at. He wasn't even playing that well. Sam Hartman comes in, does a good job, and then Jamie Newman comes back and continues to throw for a lot of yards. But Louisville wins because then down to that third-string quarterback and Evan Conley, which putting up 60-plus points. Like the job that Scott Satterfield is doing at Louisville is nothing short of spectacular, considering what happened to them last year.
I'm saying to go from what was it, 2 wins, 1 win?
It was 2 wins.
2 wins last year to they're 5-1, dude. Their only loss.
They're 4-2. They're
4-2. Sorry, with the big loss being to Notre Dame. Crazy, man.
This is crazy.
All right, let's move forward.
On.
Cincinnati and Houston was wild, my friend. I was watching this at my friend's apartment before we were going to the Gator game, and it was just like turnover, interception, pick six, scoop and score, all over the place. It was a wild game. It was really enjoyable, and it was actually cool because it was in Houston, and the sun was kind of setting, and so you got that, like, I don't know how to explain this, but, like, you know the feeling where you can see how the way that the sun is hitting, and you can feel it because you've been in that situation?
Yeah.
It was one of those things, and I was like, oh, man, this reminds me of, like, Pee Wee football growing up in, like, middle school, you know?
Nice.
So it was a cool environment. It was a cool game. I was already a couple beers in, so I was like, oh, my God, scoop and score. So it was great. It was cool.
Yeah. We mentioned sick unis earlier, sick white unis.
Uh-huh.
The Memphis Temple game.
Oh.
Memphis
I didn't get a
was
chance to see this game. I didn't get a chance to see this game because it was the same time as Red River, and then I was streaming the last 5 minutes and the overtime of Georgia. But how was this?
So this game was very entertaining. Memphis was wearing all whites, which they have Tiger uniforms, so they also made the stripes in their uniform black, so they literally looked like the white Tiger thing.
Uh-huh.
And they looked awesome. I will say, good game, competitive game. Memphis was robbed. They had
Yeah, I know that. That was my 2-point conversion this week. I know that.
Yeah, they absolutely robbed. It is just absolutely deplorable that the officials would take away that fourth down catch to extend Memphis' drive after there is absolutely no video review that is conclusive that he didn't catch it, and the ruling being on the field that he did catch it. And there's nothing to say that there's nothing from any look to say that he didn't catch it. And then they're like, no, he didn't catch it because Vegas.
I need the sideline judgment investigative reporter team to go into this and see what kind of bags were dropped to the referees in that game. Because this is a travesty for my 2-point conversion, my friend.
Oh, yes.
Let's move forward. Is Clemson back? Parentheses, were they ever really gone?
I mean, I just put this in because they just whooped up on Florida State.
Oh, it was bad. It was one of those like, oh, Clemson scored. Oh, hey, Clemson scored.
Oh, they did it again.
Hey, Clemson just scored.
Did you watch this game?
No, but I got the alert. I got the notification. I was like following on the ESPN app.
I was watching a little bit of it, and FSU's quarterbacks are not good.
They have Hornibrook.
Neither of them are very good.
They have Hornibrook and Blackman. Here's my question to answer that. Here's my answer. I'm going to answer your question with a question. Over under 5 sacks that we get against FSU. 4.5. I'll give you 4.5.
It's at home, so I'm going to go over.
Over. Nice. Good to know.
All right. Moving on.
Remember that time when Mississippi State fans said that they thought that Joe Moorhead was going to be a better coach than Dan Mullen?
All right. Good times. How'd that turn out? Literally only been a year and a half, but how'd it turn out?
Not very good.
Mississippi State fans, let me know. You good? You good with your hire right now?
How's it going over there? You know, you all right? You doing good?
They're not a good football team.
No, dude.
They lost to Tennessee.
I was reading the Banner Society on the way to a yoga class on Sunday, and
Dope flex.
Yeah, subtle flex. Thank you.
Literally.
Health flex. Thank you.
Literally.
Literally. And I was reading, and they were saying that like because of the like tutoring allegations and stuff, the sanctions, what they're doing is kind of like suspending players in games that either they think that they're gonna win big or they think they're gonna lose big, and they sent their like starters to Tennessee, and meaning that they thought they could win the game, and they still lost.
Not great. And Tennessee, don't get this wrong. Tennessee is not good. It's gonna be a long season for Mississippi State.
Tennessee is how do you say it? Really bad.
Muy malo.
Muy malo is what they are. Let's move forward. You put here, let Sergio flex with the FAU Owls. I just want to let you know, FAU Owls are 4-2, the best start to a season since 2003 when they were Division II and they made a semifinal playoff run because playoffs in Division II. And yes, they are better than the year that Lane Kiffin had that he went 11-3 because they started 1-3 that year. So FAU currently moving them chains. The game against Middle Tennessee this past week started off really weird. It started off 9-2 or 6-2.
That's weird.
Middle Tennessee State scored a touchdown. FAU blocked the extra point, scooped it, and returned it back. So it wasn't even a safety. It was like a scoop and score for a 2-point conversion.
That is weird.
It was really weird. They ended up winning 28-13. Raul was telling me it wasn't even a game. They play tomorrow night against Marshall in a big conference game. And then the week after that will be against Old Dominion, where Raul, my mom, and I will be in attendance. So,
yes, sir.
It'll be a fun one.
Move on.
Moving forward, I'd like to have a moment of silence real quick for Derek Mason. All right, good.
What could have been?
What could have been, man?
He could have taken that Colorado job.
He could have taken that Colorado job. He could have gone. And now he's going to get fired by Vandy at the end of the year.
They got their butt whooped by a bad UNLV team.
I don't see like them winning another football game.
Watch them beat Tennessee.
Oh, that would be.
They won't actually, but watch them do it.
Oh no, it'll be pristine. What it'll be like, it'll just be the chef's kiss on top. But never forget, they scored 38 points against LSU.
Yeah.
The remaining schedule, they got Missouri Saturday, they're going to lose. South Carolina, they'll lose. Florida, they'll lose. Kentucky, they'll lose. Eastern Tennessee State, they can win that game. And then Tennessee.
Ugh.
Yikes.
2 in 10 years soon come.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Maryland, don't know, baby. What is you doing?
What happened to Maryland? I don't get it.
I don't.
Like, did they just like use up all their good juju in the first 2 weeks for the entire season?
I think this is the football season equivalent of cocaine. Am I wrong? Like, they just like did a couple lines, threw for like 250 points in 2 games, and then they came down, and that was it. They're out of coke. Like,
yeah, they got arrested, so they're not gonna get any more.
Too much, too fast. Like,
it's gonna be a long season for them too.
Oh, I know.
All right, last one.
We need to start taking Missouri seriously.
A lot of people are saying that now with Georgia losing and Florida looking better, it's a 2-team race in the SEC East. I disagree. It's a 3-team race.
It's a 3-headed monster, my friends.
And Missouri, as far as schedule goes, is the easiest schedule of those 3.
Let me give it to you.
Their schedule sets up the best.
Let me give it to you right now. They got Vandy this week, win. So that puts them at, what are they?
They've only lost 1 game.
What are they at right now? They've only lost 1 game. They lost to Wyoming to start, which they shouldn't have lost to. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-1, 6-1. Next week they have Kentucky, 7-1 in my opinion. The week after that they have Georgia. No, then they have a bye week, the week of Florida, Georgia. Then they have Georgia at home, or on the road, could be a loss. Then they have us at home. Tennessee win, Arkansas win. So they have 2 tough games left of the 6, and that's against back-to-back weeks against the other 2 contenders in the East.
All right, yeah. I mean, they're a serious threat.
They are. Seriously, we got to take them seriously, keep an eye on them.
Let's move on to the 5-wide.
Moving on to 5-wide. Tyler, the first game in 5-wide was the good old Red River rivalry, and as predicted, Horns went down. 34-27, but I think the story here is the defenses in the first half.
Yeah, it's Texas's defense. didn't actually like play that well, but in the first half they forced a lot of red zone turnovers.
Right.
And Oklahoma's defense, it's not great, but it has a pulse.
Yeah, exactly.
And it played well at the beginning, and then Texas figured out how to move it. But at that point, Oklahoma had already it was one of those situations where like it was basically fluctuating for Oklahoma between a 7 to a 14-point lead.
Uh-huh.
And every time that Texas scored to bring that extra 7-point lead, Oklahoma would just take it down and score again.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma's defense is playing better and helped put Texas down. Texas' defense played good at first. And, I mean, both these teams are very good. And credit to Oklahoma for winning kind of in a way that we've not seen them win in a while.
Right. And that's the thing where, like, if Oklahoma can be, like, if their defense can be, like, just decent, they got a shot. They got a shot at to win a title because their offense is so electric and so good, you know?
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so we both got a point for that one. So for the week, it is 1-1. Next up, we had Alabama at Kyle Field, Texas A&M. We both got the point on that one, 47-28. You know what's weird? The similarity in score between this game and our game, yet this enormous difference in play between the two teams, between the four teams.
Somebody tell Kellen Mond that he's down 30 all the time.
Yeah, because then he just starts.
They didn't play well.
They should just handicap, like whatever the Vegas line is, just like handicap them. Also, it'd be much easier for alleged gamblers, so that they can literally just watch the score and be like, oh, cool, so they just need to win the game because there's a spread, you know?
Yeah.
Big call. We both got that one. It was an easy call. Alabama. Tua looking, he looked great in crimson red.
Great in Dolphins jersey next year.
He's gonna look incredible in aqua. I tell you, my man. I'm gonna buy one. If we draft Tua 1 overall, I'm buying a jersey on the spot.
What if?
Don't say it.
What if
Don't
the
say
Bengals beat you to it, and then you draft Joe Burrow with the 2nd overall pick?
This was an actual question that was posed in my group chat with my friends from high school and college, and I think my exact quote was, I will go to the Miami Dolphins front office and fight everyone in that building. Secretaries, janitors, general managers, people just visiting. I'm fighting everyone. I'm fighting everyone. I'm going Jon Snow in Battle of the Bastards and just bring it. I'm fighting everyone. Why do you get me mad? Why do you do? You know that this gets under my skin.
It brings me small pleasure to see you get upset about the Dolphins.
It brings me absolutely zero pleasure, Tyler. Zero pleasure at all.
So you don't ever come back at me about things that the Jaguars do.
No, because the Jaguars made a smart decision. Granted, their hands were tied this week, but they ended up getting 2 first-rounders and a 4th for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, which you can be mad that they had to trade him at all, and that's entirely their fault. But I think at this point, they handled it well.
Exactly, they handled it well at that point. And
I
also,
love me. You know me, a college football fan. I love my first-round picks.
Oh, we love first-rounders in this household. We stand in the sideline judgment household. First-rounders,
yes,
first-round draft picks are gold. Honestly, like if you want to drop a bag, and we can do this right now, you can. If you ever want to drop a bag, you can just email us at sidelinejudgment@gmail.com, and we'll take bags of any size. We'll also include first-round draft picks. Or 5-star recruits.
Just give one to us, and then we will just represent, and we'll pick for the team. And I guarantee you we'll probably do a good job.
Oh, we probably will. Yes, if you give us like an unattached first-round pick to drop a week's worth of ads or 5 episodes worth of ads, right? We do that, and we say, you know what? It's the 13th pick. Who's up? Oh, the Eagles are up. Okay. What do the Eagles need? Oh, a stud cornerback. Okay, cool. Eagles, here you go. You're going to take this pick. And they draft a stud cornerback. And you're welcome. Like, we fix problems. That's what we do here at Sideline Judgment.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I don't know how we got to the Dolphins. Oh, because Tua looks good in crimson, but he's going to look better in aqua. I'm not entertaining. Like, we're moving on.
You mentioned problems. Speaking of problems, Michigan State's offense.
Tyler, I don't think you can be a problem if you don't exist. That's where I'm at with this offense. This gives me Treon Harris offense vibes.
I watched very little of this game, and I wish I hadn't seen that part either.
I saw the highlights, and I said, that's enough, thank you.
You mean the low lights? The low shadows?
Just the lights. Just lights. Very eco-friendly lights. That's all I saw.
Wisconsin beats Michigan State 38-0. Sergio gets a point for that.
Yeah, baby.
Because I'm an idiot.
Because you're an idiot. You really are. You can forgive. The two games I got wrong this week are the next game we'll talk about and my 2-point conversion. And both were 2 minutes at the end of the game away from me sweeping all the points.
Yeah,
so close.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Penn State at Iowa. Penn State beats Iowa on the road, 17-12. Tyler, you get the point for that one. I picked Iowa, but I definitely wasn't a bad pick.
No, it was a close game. Like every time that an opponent goes to Iowa, you're forced to play Iowa's game.
Yeah.
And not all people are able to do that. Right. And Penn State, winning the way they always win, they've been winning all season.
Yeah.
Their offense is entirely dependent on big plays.
Yep.
They don't drive the ball down the field very well, but just over the course of a game, they will you give them like 60 offensive plays, about 10 of those will result in 30-plus yard gains.
Right.
Some of them touchdowns. And against Iowa, that's all they really needed. This game, Penn State did score a touchdown that was taken back by the referees that I think should have been on the board. So I don't know if it was as close as the score indicates. Mm-hmm. But Penn State's defense is really good, and their offense is occasionally explosive. So it's just enough to beat Iowa. And, good. Point me.
I just want to say, if it was raining, Iowa wins.
Oh, absolutely.
Just saying. So you get the point there, and then luckily, Tyler used his heart and not his head, and he took Hawaii, our Rainbow Warriors, America's nightcap, to beat the Blue Turf Monsters of Boise State.
Hey, at least I'm loyal to my family.
I respect it, but my guy, I got some catching up to do.
Okay.
So I had to go with Boise State. I get the point, 59-37. This game...
It really wasn't even that close.
I'm going to be honest with you. I saw part of this game. I was so sick to my stomach with the Florida loss. Not that I was mad at the team or we played well, whatever. But
it just sucks to lose.
It sucks to lose. It was the first loss of the season, and it was like 2 hours after the game. I was still processing. I was still going through. It was funny because friend of the pod, Alexa, every once in a while I would just go, and she started counting them. She was like, 8. And I was like, what? She was like, you've sighed 8 times since the game ended, and I know it's about the game. And I was like, damn, you're right. So I had that emotional reaction, you know what I mean? So yeah. Didn't watch as much. Once I realized Boise State was going to win, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to bed. I can't do this. So I did that. I ended up getting a point on that one. So in just the 5 wide, I take the cake 4 points to 3. And thankfully, on my part, both of our 2 points did not hit. Tyler, your 2-point conversion was once again a horrible pick. I'm talking... I can't even describe it. Just horrible pick. I'm talking so bad that people would pick Nebraska
over Minnesota. I didn't realize that Adrian Martinez was not going to play in this game.
Oh,
a lot of things would have been different.
Mistakes were made.
If I had known that Adrian Martinez wasn't going to play in this game,
mistakes were made.
Decisions would be different.
Minnesota destroys Nebraska 34-7, and the college football gods are smiling down upon me. But the gods giveth and the gods taketh away. Because as we said beforehand with the Memphis game, Memphis lost to Temple 30-28. Got robbed. I should have gotten 2 more points. And to date right now, it is 31 Tyler, 28 Sergio. I made 1 point ground. I should have made 3 points ground, and it should be a 1-point game. I want justice, American refs. Justice, I say.
I'm perfectly fine with the officiating so far. I mean, like...
Stop, Tyler. Stop it.
I mean, overall, net positive for me. So what am I going to do? Sit here and complain?
You should be fighting for justice is what you should be fighting. Oh, my God.
Yeah! So, all right.
Well,
you know...
Can't complain.
I look at it like I look about pass interference penalties.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's many times I'll see there... And my team will get a pass interference penalty. And I'll sit there and be like, that was not pass interference. But you know what? I'll take it. My picks team this year will be called the Tyler Williams Pass Interferences.
Are you going to do that next year?
I actually might do that for another fantasy team. That's a good name.
I love it. I love it.
Let's move on to tweets we've shared. Our
Moving
favorite
on to
segment.
tweets we shared. Best segment of the pod. Flagship segment of the pod. Tyler, what is your favorite tweet that I've shared with you this week?
See, that's a tough one that you bring up, but I'm gonna round it back to the good old Georgia Bulldogs. It's a tweet by David Pascal, and it's a ponderous tweet. Makes you ponder. It goes. The starts of Mark Richt and Kirby Smart at Georgia continue to amaze. Richt, 2001, 8-4. 2002, 13-1, SEC championship. 2003, 11-3, SEC runner-up. 2004, 5-1. Kirby Smart, 2016, 8-5. 2017, 13-2, SEC champion. 2018, 11-3, SEC runner-up. And 2019, 5-1. It's the exact same. Sergio's doing the Birdman hand rub.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
I cannot wait until the cocktail party.
The thing that you can think about this, and the thing that this brings up really is that Kirby Smart is a dynamic recruiter. You cannot take that away from him.
No doubt about it.
Dynamic. However, and this has kind of always been the thing about Kirby Smart, and this is his first head coaching job, so part of this is to be expected. But the other thing is, I think it's who he is as a person. He is kind of like Will Muschamp in that his in-game coaching leaves a lot to be desired.
Well, when you lose to Will Muschamp, I feel like that's proof. Yeah,
and I think that, like, I said this last year when it came to Jake Fromm specifically. I was talking about Jake Fromm's development as a quarterback. And I was like, Kirby Smart might just be the type of coach that Jake Fromm goes to Georgia, and he never really gets better. And that's fine, because Jake Fromm is a good player. And Georgia doesn't really require a lot out of him. But here we are, year 3, and I don't think Jake Fromm is incredibly better than he was as a freshman. He got a little bit better last year, and I think he's about the same this year. I think that I'd be interested to see what happens when Jake Fromm goes pro, because I want to see what an NFL team will do with him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that raw talent translates.
But I think this also goes for a lot of Kirby's players. I don't really think they get much better under him. Think about, like, Mullen develops players. There's a lot of coaches that develop their talent. And it's important to recruit, but then it's also important to get those recruiting players to play better. I don't think that Kirby Smart's team is playing better. It's not only is this start indicative of also of Mark Richt, who did not have as talented of players when he started at Georgia.
Right.
Kirby Smart's start is, in at least the first 2 years, is very similar to Will Muschamp. Like, he jumped up in his second year with talent that a mix of his coaching, talent from the previous regime, and his talented youngsters. But I mean, it doesn't seem, it might just be me, but the trajectory for Georgia, I don't know if it's going up. I don't think it's going down necessarily, but I don't think it's going up. And I'm fascinated to see what they look like with Jake Fromm leaves.
Agreed. I just want to say there that
he's voiding a lot of them, in my opinion.
They ended up having a loaded quarterback room, and they may have ended up with the worst of those quarterbacks. Not saying that Jake Fromm is bad, but Justin Fields is for sure better. He's in a better system for him right now, clearly, showcasing that. Jacob Eason, I think, is better, and he's in a better system for himself with a coaching guru like Chris Peterson.
I will say there's a lot of people that are like, did the wrong quarterback transfer, but I'm like, it's just that I don't know if Justin Fields in the Georgia system is remarkably better than Jake Fromm. That's the thing, and that also comes back to Kirby Smart. Is he putting his players in a position to succeed? Because they're trying to be 2009 Alabama, but
you don't win games that way.
I mean, 2009 Alabama isn't 2009 Alabama anymore.
No, Alabama barely has a defense this year. They're throwing over the top. Alabama is more. Alabama. I saw something. I was reading something today, and I forgot where it was, and I'm sorry I can't cite it, but it was something like comparing Oklahoma to Alabama, and it was like Alabama is more 2018 Oklahoma than Oklahoma is. You know, the way that they're just letting that thing fly.
That's the crazy thing about college football is teams change. But it's going to be very interesting to watch Kirby Smart as he goes forward.
Agreed.
What is your tweet that you shared with me?
My tweet that you shared with me, my friend, is from Barstool Big Cat. Love us, Barstool Big Cat. Hilarious guy. He is quoting a tweet by none other than @Pontifex, Pope Francis. And he tweeted, sorry, but I had to do this. He tweeted Sunday morning, the day that the Jags are playing the Saints, and he said, "Today we give thanks to the Lord for our new #Saints. They walked by faith, and now we invoke their intercession." So obviously it meant that he was anointing new saints, right?
Yeah.
But because the NFL is this machine, on Sundays when you #Saints, it gives you the New Orleans Saints logo. So, by the way, this has not been a deleted tweet. This is still up.
Oh, yeah.
So the Pope basically tweeted.
Do you think anybody in the Vatican even knows what this is?
At all?
The thing in America that we're talking about here.
What's that weird thing over there on the
It's the Florida-LSU. Like, they're probably like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then Barstool Big Cat quotes and says, "What is this supposed to mean? I liked the Jags before I saw this."
It be your own religion sometimes.
It be your own faith.
Jaguar, by the way, the Jaguars lost.
Jaguars lost. I love also honorable mention to the first reply by Sam McGrath, saying divine interceptions all day. Quality.
See, this is how you get back. This is how you get back at me for what I just did to you with the Dolphins.
This is how I get back at you.
I'm
this is
Catholic, and this is how I'm repaid.
We're both Catholic. This is how it goes. Sorry, bud. It'd be like that.
Scripture. It's all fine, but the things of this world do not matter. But also, why you got to do me like that, Pope Francis?
Amen.
You're from the Americas. Why you got to do us like that?
He's from our hemisphere, but he knows what he knows, man.
Right.
Good job. We already did our ad read. Again, if you want to drop a bag, sidelinejudgment@gmail.com. We're more than welcome to take some bags, any size, any quantity. We'll do it. Tyler K. Williams. We were at 45 minutes, which I think is a new record for reaching.
Wow, look at us!
Right, we're out here making moves. Big fan.
All these teams around in uniform, just like us.
Yeah. Just took us halfway through the season. Let's talk about briefly, because we don't have much to talk about, Florida at South Carolina. It is a noon kickoff in Columbia, so don't come after our student section, national media. Oh, Lord. Sorry.
For not showing up in another state.
Yo, you know someone's going to be tweeting like, "Wow, can't believe the Gators student section isn't even showing up. It's halftime. They still haven't showed up." Yeah, I'm sorry. It takes 9 hours to drive from Gainesville to Columbia, South Carolina. Get out of here.
The better of the two Columbias in the SEC.
The better.
Don't fight me.
Ooh.
Don't come at me. Don't come at me.
Take some smoke, but I support. Tyler, let's talk about the offense. What does the offense need to do against a very good so I was going to say a very good South Carolina defense, but we also need to take into account, is Georgia as good as we think it is? But Will Muschamp is a good defensive coordinator.
It's a Will Muschamp defense. It's going to, at least schematically, the game plan is going to be there. So it's how does Millen attack that? I think it's odd. Last year, Florida won the game against South Carolina by running the ball.
Uh-huh.
And this year, I think they're going to have to attack through the air, as they've been doing all season. I think that the Florida offensive line is getting a little bit better, inch by inch, week by week. It's less of they're getting better; it's more of they're not as bad in the run blocking game. But I think that Florida needs to not. It's really simple. Like, just don't give South Carolina short fields. Don't turn the ball over. They did a relatively good job of that against LSU. Mm-hmm. They only had the one interception that Kyle Trask threw in the end zone when it was still a close game.
Yeah.
But just no fumbles. Florida needs to really try and get their ball to the outside, because Javon Kinlaw in the middle of that defense is playing like a monster. Mm-hmm. And I think that you're not going to have a lot of time to stand tall in the pocket, because Javon Kinlaw is coming in. He's going to breaking up everything up the middle. Kyle Trask is going to have to be able to scramble from side to side. Not really his forte, necessarily.
Especially with that MCL strain.
Yeah. So I think quick passes, getting the ball out quickly. Last year when we played South Carolina, it was late enough in the year that South Carolina had a lot of injuries at the secondary, which required them to play off and play zone, and allowed Florida to run more. And this year, they don't have as many injuries in the back end, so they might not be off as much, but it's really taking quick passes, I think, is the big thing. Fighting the matchups. I think that Florida's offense is getting better each week. I think that they'll be fine. But I think it's with this one, you just don't make stupid mistakes.
Right. Don't beat yourself.
Just keep the play in front of you, do what you're supposed to do, execute your job. I don't need 60-yard touchdowns here. I just need you do make a good play.
Yeah. Be
And
smart.
execute. I think because like South Carolina's defense, while well coached, is good. But I think South Carolina winning that Georgia game had a lot more to do with Georgia just not finding a way to win.
Right. It was more Georgia lost than South Carolina won.
Yeah, South Carolina played fine on defense. They did not play well on offense after Ryan Hilinski went out. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just limit turnovers and execute.
I agree, and I think this is going to be, has to be a bounce back game for us. Even though I'm not disappointed with our play, you know what I mean? I'm not disappointed with our play against LSU, but it's a bounce back game, and we got to beat South Carolina if we want to. We're talking about contention for the SEC. Forget the SEC East. We're talking about contention for the actual SEC. You know?
Yeah.
To win the conference. And
let's do that. You got to take care of business.
You got to take care of business. And I would also, like you said, I think the game plan is going to be more through the air. I would like to find moments when we could reestablish the run game. I feel like this is a perfect game to find spots when we can reestablish the run game, get through, give P. Ryan his carries. I don't know if Pierce is going to be active or available for this one, but give Malik Davis some carries. Not just because I love Malik Davis, but, splitting the carries, get the running game back up.
P. Ryan can't be taking all the snaps.
Correct. Give that offensive line.
It's not healthy for him long term. It's not healthy for him this season.
Correct.
He's our best running back. We need him for the long haul, so you can't have him chances of getting absolutely bent out of shape now.
Yeah, on a noon road game to a team that theoretically you should beat. I also I want to give the offensive line some confidence before heading into the bye week. We can get really healthy. So there it is. That's my goal. Stay injury-free, bounce back game, reestablish the run game. That's what I hope happens in this game offensively. On the defensive side of the ball, you mentioned it. Hilinski's probably out, right?
Will Muschamp says that he's going to give it a go and that he's getting better. That could mean anything. Will Muschamp is notoriously bad about giving
He's a gamesman. He's a gamesman. He's not going to give us an advantage. He's going to have us prepare for both quarterbacks.
And that's good. I mean, like, Ryan Hilinski is clearly better because Takarion Joyner is just not as much of a threat through the air. He's a good runner. Right. And even I read that he is also battling a hamstring injury from a couple weeks ago. So he's not even really with the full of what he could be as a runner. But I think that the biggest thing is that if Hilinski does go, you have to be very disciplined in the pass game because Brian Edwards is a monster receiver, and they've got good receivers.
He's on my fantasy team, fully aware.
And South Carolina has good running backs. They're relatively good at rushing the ball. So the biggest thing for me is you got to be able to set the edge. Jabari Zuniga and Jonathan Kennard. I'm not expecting either of those two people to play.
Neither am I.
So since that's the case, I think that the young guys have Chris Bogle, Zachary Carter. The young guys have got to step in and set the edge.
Yep.
And there needs to be sure tackling because that was an issue. And I think it was I personally think that Florida's issues stopping the run against LSU were unique to that game.
Yep.
Because you're so worried about the LSU passing attack that you're a little soft in the run in ways that kind of open up you. For that game specifically, I don't think Florida has run defense problems.
Right. I think we played most of that game. I think most of that game we just played the nickel.
Yeah. So I think it's keying on the run because I think that specifically, like, the run is the bread and butter of what South Carolina does offensively.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of the quarterback, if you can shut down the run, I think you'll be in a good position. Like, that was called Missouri when Missouri beat South Carolina earlier this season. The biggest part of the game plan for them was that they kept South Carolina's offense down by completely stopping the run.
Right.
So
I think we're on the same page there. I think we're on the exact same page. Again, I want us to stay healthy. We're going into the bye week. Bye weeks are a godsend because we get healthy before the big Georgia game. Get healthy. I want to see both Jabari and Jonathan Grenard not play this game to get an extra week of rest. And I don't know if we have an injury update on Pierce or Kadarius Toney, but I would love to see if they could get healthy over the bye week. That's pretty much what I'm looking for there. I agree with you wholeheartedly on the defensive front. I expect a victory. Tyler, what about you? What are you thinking for this game?
I do expect a victory. I'm a little worried about the potential letdown spot, although I do think that Dan Mullen's going to come in with, like, guys, just get me to the bye week.
Yep.
Just let's and then you'll have a couple days off. We'll get time to recuperate. But other thing is that a lot of the quotes that I've heard from this team, and Dan Mullen has openly talked about it. Last time when they lost to Georgia, they weren't disciplined last year. They weren't disciplined. They lost to Missouri the next week, and that was a game where they kind of hung their head going into the Missouri week. There was an effort thing. Yeah. And he says after the Missouri game, they really dug in and reestablished themselves. And after that, they had 10 straight victories.
Yep.
Several top 10 wins against their rivals. And Mullen has specifically said, like, I need to know what kind of team is going to show up. And from the quotes that I've heard from players, I really think that a lot of these players are not going to take their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Because I think they understand it's not when Florida lost to Georgia last year, any real shot that they had at the SEC title went away.
Yeah.
So that was, but when losing to LSU, all of the season's goals are still in front of you.
Yeah.
It's the margin for error that has slipped. So
when you lose a game like that and you stay in the top 10, I think it's an indication of where the season could go.
But now they got to work extra hard. So I think that Florida's not going to have a letdown game. It might be a close game because Florida might just be trying to do the bare minimum to get to the bye week. But I think Florida's going to win.
Agreed. I'm with you on that front. But it would make me a very, very happy camper if we could we could bounce back in a big way and show, no, we are good. Our heads are on straight. Our effort is there. We like it. Awesome. Let's move forward. Let's go to our 5 wide for this week. We start out west. Number 12, Oregon, going up against number 25, Washington, who re-enters the top 25. The game is at 3:30 p.m. on ABC. The game is in Seattle. It's an interesting one, my man.
Yeah,
it's an interesting football game.
Because do you subscribe? I've heard this, and I'm wondering what your take on it is. Somebody said that Washington, when they're playing at their best, is the best team in the Pac-12. They have of the top 4 teams in the conference, which right now are Oregon, Washington, Arizona State, and Utah, I would say. Mm-hmm. Washington has the highest highs of those teams, and also at times the lowest lows.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that makes this difficult. It is Washington at home. They're underdogs to an Oregon team that I think is good, could be great. But Justin Herbert did just lose his one of the top 10 ends in the nation, Jacob Breland.
Yeah, he broke his foot. He's out for the year.
And Oregon has been Justin Herbert. Their offense is still not creative enough for me, in my opinion.
No,
Justin
they're very
percentage
conservative
going
with
down.
their offense.
It bothers me.
Me too, because he's good. He's a good quarterback.
He's good. Use your quarterback.
It's what bothered us in the opening game of the season against Auburn. Like, if they let him throw, if they don't change their game plan halfway through the third quarter, they win that game.
So I want to state that it was a long time ago, as in last week, that I famously broke up with the Washington Huskies.
Yes, you did.
I'd like to say here on this podcast, I'm back. I'm all in, baby. I'm back, baby. I never left. I never really left. I'm back. I want you back, baby.
It was
I'm
just
picking
a
the
low.
Washington Huskies.
Tyler's picking the Washington Huskies.
I never really left, baby. I miss you.
Listen.
I want you back. Oh, I do now. I want you back. Baby.
As much as I want to hear you sing Jackson 5, I think it's important to state, yes, I need to make up ground. But I also need to be smart with each game I pick. I love me a home dog.
Mm-hmm.
I love me.
Quite literally a home dog to the Huskies.
I hated that, but I do love me a home dog. I like Washington in Seattle. Washington
is good at home.
I subscribe to the idea that Washington is the best team in the Pac-12 when they're playing at their best. I'm also a Jacob Eason believer.
Yeah, I think Oregon's defense is good. Well. Washington's defense is really good. Oregon could very easily win this game. This is not the craziest pick, but I think that Oregon overall over the course of the season will probably have a better record, be a better team than Washington. But I think this specific matchup, this rivalry, which is a very heated one,
yes,
in Seattle, it's a ranked matchup. Washington, for a half against Arizona, was amazing.
Yeah. And
I think that if Washington can get back to running the ball, taking play action shots at Jacob Eason, I think Washington can win this game. And so I feel comfortable with that.
All right. Also, this gives me Auburn, Florida vibes. And home dog won in that one, so I'm going to take the home dog in this one.
Smart.
Temple
This is a
SMU.
great uniform game, by the way.
Oh, pristine. That purple?
And then the
Woo!
It's going to be great.
You know I'm gonna put the coloration on my TV on max. You know that. How those colors pop, baby.
Pop that saturation, baby.
Pop that saturation. Let's move forward to the American Conference. Temple SMU, 3:30 on ESPN2. This is competing with the Oregon-Washington game. I'm definitely gonna put the Oregon-Washington game on the big screen. May have to put this one on the laptop. I'm gonna roll with it. I'm rolling with the ponies. I'm rolling with SMU at home. I'm rolling with SMU at home. Temple should not have won that last game. They were gifted. But I believe SMU has a shot now that UCF has lost 2 games. SMU has a shot to be the group of 5 representative. And I think it would be a phenomenal, for the content, right? Phenomenal college football story for a program that had the death penalty and can now bounce back from that. I'm gonna go with SMU.
I'm in the same line. I think that Temple has beaten some good teams this year,
right?
And they've only lost once to Buffalo. But I think that SMU, well, I'm not sure. I think Boise is better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that SMU is kind of on a roll right now, so I think I'm gonna take SMU as well.
Cool. Moving forward down to the Big 12, or staying in state, but or in the region and going to the Big 12. Baylor, undefeated, number 18th ranked Baylor, travels to Stillwater to play Oklahoma State, 4 o'clock on Fox. Tyler, who you got?
I'm going to take the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Oklahoma State Cowboys because Baylor has been really good at the line of scrimmage, great for a Big 12 defense. But they won against Texas Tech in overtime.
And I saw that game, and I should have put it on our rapid reactions. I'm sorry. I did see the fourth quarter of that game and the first overtime, or the beginning of overtime. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I think. Go ahead.
Texas Tech lost that game rather than Baylor won that game.
Yeah, I agree. Oklahoma State, I think, has a better running back, better receiver, better quarterback, and I think it's at home. And I think Baylor has been riding a high, and I think that Baylor could win this game, but I think this is prime spot for an Oklahoma State win. Mm-hmm. And also, this is kind of a must-win game because if Oklahoma State loses this game, you fall to 1-3 in the conference.
Yeah.
And they cannot afford that if they want to contend. Which I mean, the level at which they can contend is I'm not sure, but right. I think that Oklahoma State at least believes that they can contend. So
I think so too.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys. With the mullet himself.
In the words of college football's grandfather, Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. I'm going to go with Baylor. Why? Because Baylor has something to play for, and that is upsetting and causing chaos in the Big 12 title race. I do believe that Matt Rule. It's very Gators from last year, where we just kind of found a way to win some football games. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to go with Baylor. I'm going to ride that horse. I'm going to take that horse to the Old Town Road. I'm going to ride it till I can't no more.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Baylor can really prove something if they can win this game.
Agreed. And I think they do. And I think they win this game and they shoot up to at least top 15. They're 18 right now. I think they move up.
Because they're a good team, and this is gonna. If they win this game, they're gonna be a really good team.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's move forward.
Moving on, we got Arizona State taking on Utah, 6 o'clock on the Pac-12 network.
I'm disappointed. Pac-12 network?
Disappointed it's on the Pac-12.
I wanted to watch this.
Now no one can. I feel like there's heaven and hell and there's purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in purgatory they only show games on the Pac-12 network. Where it's like you're not bad enough where you can never watch college football again, but you're definitely not getting Herbie and Fowler.
Yeah. It's just like but it's how good can it really be?
And every once in a while you get a game like this and you're like, oh hey, look at that, it's not that bad here, and then you realize that the ABC game, which we'll talk about after this, is so much better that you're like, oh, I wish I was watching that game.
Yeah.
6 o'clock, Pac-12 Network, Arizona State, Utah. I have the first pick on this one. I'm taking the Utes. I'm taking Utah.
Utah Utes.
I think this defense is really good, and I think this defense can stop that freshman. It's a true road game. And I think it's not that the Magic's going to run out, but I just think it's not the year for Arizona State yet. And I think Utah is having a good year, take care of business, and I think they do it here at home.
I think that
it's intimidating to play in that stadium. So
Rice Eccles is a good stadium. It's a good stadium. It's always at max capacity.
Hopefully, we'll be there in a few years.
I would love that personally. That's one of the stadiums I really want to go to.
Yeah, it's on the bucket list.
Arizona State's a good team. Utah is obviously a good team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with Utah as well because I think Arizona State's has been playing very well, and Jaden Daniels is playing very well. But low key, they did lose the USC game, which had a lot of weird factors to it. But other than that game, Utah's looked great.
Yeah.
Their defense has been playing great, and their offense is starting to get into a rhythm. And I think that they are gonna. I think they're gonna give it. I think it'll be close, but I think Utah wins.
Yeah, good call on that one. And the primetime game of the week: Michigan traveling to Happy Valley for a whiteout game against Penn State. Game day is there, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Herbie Fowler on the call. Tyler, you pick first. Who do you got?
So this rivalry the last couple of years has been kind of weird because it's always a blowout.
Yeah.
It was Michigan blew them out in 2016, and then in 2017 Penn State blew them out, and then 2018 Michigan blew them out again. That's because usually these two teams are, one of them is like the 8-4, 9-3 team, the other one is like the 10-2, 11-1 kind of team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I have to go with here is that I think that this is the first time that these two teams are a little bit closer to each other as far as record-wise. But I think I'm gonna go with Penn State. They're at home in a whiteout, which I want to go to that one day too.
That's on the bucket list as well.
I also have a friend that went to Penn State. Shout out Taylor Rambo. I'm picking this for you. But I think that also Penn State again is better getting their athletes in space. They're at home. They've got a good defense. Both these teams have really good defenses. But I think that this will be a low-scoring game. But I think that Penn State has the ability to make one or two more plays than Michigan will.
Mm-hmm. Good call. For me, it's very simple. I'm taking Penn State because I don't trust the Michigan offense.
That's probably a much simpler, easier way to break that down.
They're at home, game day. I don't trust them. I don't trust Michigan. I don't trust Harbaugh to go into an environment like that. I don't trust Shea Patterson to not throw 3 interceptions. I don't trust him. I just don't trust him. All right?
Understood.
Moving on, we're going over to our 2-point conversions. Just to recap our 5-wide. Oregon, Washington, we both have Washington. Temple, SMU, we both have SMU. Baylor, Oklahoma State, I have Baylor, you have OK State. Arizona State, Utah, we both have Utah. Michigan, Penn State, we both have Penn State. So the separation this week is really going to be in that Baylor, Oklahoma State game and in these 2-point conversion games. And luckily, I have first pick this week. And Tyler, not only am I going to make a pick that will be correct, but I'm going to pull at your heartstrings.
Oh, no.
I think you know where I'm going, my man.
Oh, man.
12 o'clock, Fox Sports 1. Your son, Brock Purdy, and the Iowa State Cyclones taking on the Texas Tech University Red Raiders.
Oh, boy.
And you already know who I'm picking, baby.
We already know, baby.
You already know who I'm picking.
What time is it?
It's Purdy time, baby.
It's time to Brock Purdy, baby.
It's Brock o'clock, baby. I'm on a run today. I have some weird ones today. I'm loving it.
Party like a rock star, baby.
Party like a Brock star. Noon game, baby. You know what it is. I'm taking Iowa State over Texas Tech. I got the faith. They're going to secure the bag. I was going to go, and you were going to say, Sergio, I hate you because it wouldn't have been right. I was going to go with our newly minted Minnesota Golden Gophers over Rutgers. But I felt like that was too much of a gimme.
Come on.
That was too much of a gimme. So I'm going to take Iowa State.
Glad you didn't go with that. That's like, obviously, yes, Minnesota. If Minnesota, imagine if you did that and Minnesota found a way to lose that game.
I deserve to lose if that happened. Because
that would be amazing.
Yeah, I deserve. So I'm taking Iowa State over Texas Tech, 12 noon on Fox Sports 1. Tyler, what is your 2-point conversion game of the week?
A lot of good games this week.
A lot of good games.
And
a lot of good mid-tier games.
Yeah, like a lot of really good ones in the Big 12, a lot of good mid-tier ones in the Pac-12. Not really a lot of good SEC ones. That's okay.
Yeah.
Duke Virginia is a good game that is a fun game that I will not watch because it'll probably be very ugly.
North
Maybe
Carolina and Virginia Tech is going to be a decent game.
that would be fun. Colorado Washington State is interesting. Can Washington State bounce back? But I think I'm gonna go back to the well. I'm gonna go back to my beloveds, my boys, my previously undefeated until this week, but they're just like Florida to me. They lost a game where they played well.
Time out. You did not just say they're just like Florida.
Try to find parallels, okay?
I mean this week because of who they're playing, but
yeah, you see what I mean? I'm gonna go with the Wake Forest Demon Deacons over FSU.
I can't believe you're gonna force me to cheer for FSU. I hate you.
I exist to infuriate you.
Tyler, I love you to death. In the words of Stephen A. Smith, I love that man like a brother. But I hate you this week. I hope you know that. I hate you this week.
Hey, well, you took Brock Purdy away from me, so like.
Yeah, okay, but. Oh, okay. All right, great. Okay, but Brock Purdy. I know you're having this little love affair with Brock Purdy, and it's nice, and it's going to be nice while it lasts. But you realize that this Florida State hatred is for life, right?
That's true.
Don't throw that in my face.
I mean, I have a lot of appreciation for Wake Forest because John Wolford, Bishop Kenny Legend, played there. And,
yes, but of course.
But also always rooting against FSU. But go Demon Deeks, they're at home. There's a possibility that FSU just comes in and smacks them, but I don't see that happening because they just lost to Louisville. It is a get-right game. It's a get-right game against the Florida State Seminoles.
I don't know. It's I can't believe that sentence came out of your mouth this decade.
And it's not completely unrealistic for that to be case.
Listen. Coach of the Year, Willie Taggart, needs to be respected, okay?
Lifetime contract.
Blank check. Give him a blank check. All right, so that's been our 5 wide and 2 point this week. Just to review, I already reviewed the 5 wide. To review 2 point, Iowa State over Texas Tech is my 2 point. Wake Forest over FSU is Tyler's 2 point. Can't believe he has me doing this, but I have to. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this. Moving forward,
do it under the guise that you want FSU to be as highly ranked as possible when we play them, so that it can increase.
Frankly, I'd rather FSU be winless.
I mean, I root for Georgia and FSU to go winless every single year.
Every year, baby.
And it's like a throwback to when Georgia played Alabama in the national championship, and I had some friends ask me, like, who are you rooting for? And I'm
Alabama?
Like, Alabama, obviously. And they're like, how could you do that? Alabama's like, I always want Alabama to win. I'm like, you don't understand. They're playing Georgia.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Yeah, maybe.
You don't just
they're
cheer.
playing Clemson, they're playing Ohio State. I'll probably root for the other team, but it's Georgia.
You don't watch Saving Private Ryan and cheer for the Nazis.
Exactly.
Come on, let's get it right over here.
Yeah.
4 favorite words. To hell with Georgia.
To hell with Georgia. Forever and always.
Forever and always.
Right.
Moving forward, our official moment of the week. Had a lot. I was in Boston for the weekend, seeing friends. Great, wonderful time. Ate a lot of good food. Did a lot of cool things. I went apple picking Sunday. I saw Joker.
I seem to see that.
I went to the North End, had some real Italiano food with waiters that spoke to me in Italian. It was phenomenal. Went to a casino, played blackjack. Had a great weekend. But nothing, my friend, tops the southern hospitality that was given to me in a bar in Boston by a group of LSU fans who, after the game, I'm clearly dejected, Tyler. Clearly dejected. Game's over. I was one of like 4 Florida fans in the bar. There were like 15 LSU fans and like 4 Florida fans. So it was like a little, okay. And then I'm leaving where I paid for the check. I'm going out. As I'm leaving, I get flagged down by a couple of the LSU fans. And I'm like, oh, these are nice guys. They just want to say a good game and stuff. Whatever. That's sweet of them. I go over. That's exactly what it is. Hey, well, we saw you. You were cheering and stuff. And, we just want to say it was a good game. And, don't be too hard on yourself. You actually got a great team. Level-headed fans. We're having a conversation about the game, about the future of the SC Awesome. I said, all right, cool. Thank you guys so much. I got my friends waiting for me. I'll see you. Like, oh, no, don't leave. I said, oh, what? I said, oh, we bought you a shot. I was like, oh. How wonderfully nice. What wonderfully nice of you. So I ended up taking the shot, right? So the shot comes. I do it, and I'm thinking it's either tequila or vodka or some kind of rum or something, whatever. It gets put down on the table. There's like 5 shots, right? Because they order around for the table. I pick it up to do cheers, and I smell it, Tyler. I smell it. It was Fireball. I smelled the cinnamon.
You were in too deep at that point.
I couldn't say no. And it was the point where, like, if I thought about it,
man.
That's the point. You never turn down free alcohol. But, like, if I thought about it, I was going to throw up before I even took the shot. Because I was a plethora. I wasn't even drunk. It was just, I'd had a lot of, like, craft, like, brewery-style beers and IPA. Like, I'd had, like, quality beer, but so it was heavier. So it was heavy on my stomach. So I did the cheers, bum, up, down, up, took it back like a man, had the shot, and said, "Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. See you later. Go Gators. Hope we see you in Atlanta." Walked out, and that entire night, the rest of the night, my stomach was like killing me. I woke up the next morning, and I was like, I do not feel good. My friend was like, "Yo, go throw up." I was like, "Cool." Throw up. Felt perfectly fine. So that was my moment of the week.
You gotta get it out of your system.
Gotta get it out of my system. I wasn't even drunk. Like, it wasn't like throw up like, oh, I'm so drunk. No, it wasn't. It was just
but
like
it just was in your system.
It was just heavy, you know? So I ended up having that wonderful, in quotes, Fireball shot. Thank you so much to the hospitality, though. You know what? It was a very nice, sweet gesture.
Yeah.
And Tyler, when we end up maybe going to Atlanta for the title game, if we end up there in that weekend in December, then, you know, we can maybe buy an LSU fan a shot after we win the
to console them after
to console them afterwards. Yeah, exactly. So it is what it is. It will not be a Fireball shot. I want to let you know right now. So that was my moment of the week.
All right, my moment of the week is not really a personal experience, but Kentucky played Arkansas this past weekend at night, and it was the entire day and game was dedicated to Jared Lorenzen, former Kentucky quarterback, and New York Giant and Super Bowl champion that passed away this in the offseason. So it was Jared Lorenzen Day, and the game was dedicated to him. And in a way, he was notable because he was really big, really heavy.
Yeah, big guy.
But he still was really good. And it's one of those kind of unique things, and he's just a very beloved figure. And in the spirit of, you know, odd quarterback starting situation for Kentucky, Lynn Bowden, who's a wide receiver, played high school quarterback, started the game at quarterback for Kentucky. And they went down early, and they come back, and they win in an emotional game. And, you know, those are just the cool little moments.
Yeah, college football, things that make college football what it is.
We love it. Also, you know, to go off of your, like, little food and stuff thing, recently at the station that I work at, we had a 1-year anniversary thing of us, of the Hurricane Michael in Panama City. So
yes, I saw. Congratulations.
They had food catered. Sergio, have you ever had a bacon wrapped scallop?
I have.
I was introduced to bacon wrapped scallops.
Tyler?
For free.
Oh, I didn't have them for free.
So me and all the other reporters and everything were just like,
Tyler,
free
scallops. You've had scallops before, right?
Oh yeah.
So you've had scallops before, you've had bacon before, but you never had them together.
I was untold. These possibilities were untold to me.
Oh, and I'm not trying to one up you. I'm just trying to equal the playing field here. That Friday night when I was watching the Miami game, it was at this Italian restaurant, and I go and I order this beautiful pasta. It was a penne pasta with like pancetta and onions. It was delicious. Alexa, friend of the pod, orders lobster ravioli. Tyler, when I tell you this girl's lobster ravioli was one of the greatest things I've ever put in my mouth, it's an understatement. I went full ravioli, give me the formioli. I wanted it. I needed it.
It's SpongeBob reference for you.
So good. There. Oh, always SpongeBob. Always referencing SpongeBob. At night.
First of all, Squidward, you didn't have to do that for me. First of all, SpongeBob, I hate you. Second of all, if I'm right here, how can I be out there? For those of you that don't know, Graveyard Shift, one of the greatest episodes of SpongeBob ever.
Oh, incredible! We should in the off season we should have like a SpongeBob episode where we talk about SpongeBob completely.
Talk and relate college football teams and storylines to SpongeBob characters and episodes.
I love that.
You gotta do it.
We have to. I love that. I thought, oh my god, I forgot about that line. First of all, SpongeBob, I hate you. Oh man. Okay, that has been another exciting episode of Sideline Judgment. Shout out to us in hour 20, acting like that's short, but it's not.
We do it for you guys.
We do it for you
Do it for
guys.
all you lovebirds out there that like your under hour and a half pods.
That's what you love. We will be back next week talking about the game against South Carolina, and then we will be back with a different episode. We have a mid-season review that we are planning. We'll go ahead and check in on our predictions and see how things are going, and we'll kind of make updated and adapted predictions for the rest of the season in what is to come. So stay tuned, be on the lookout for that. But until then, Tyler, this has been another fantastic episode of Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
We are not biased, but go Gators.